Hello everybody, it's Medley again, and I gotta admit, I'm kind of late to the conversation on this one, but that's just in production, not necessarily discussion. If you guys have caught my streams, you know what I do. I've been giving big props to the big guns, the snipers. Your favorite content creators probably have already released videos about this sniper, that sniper, whatever, why they nerfed this or why they buffed that, but this is kind of the case where I think Respawn was ahead of the curve by looking at the data and looking at the win rate of snipers, because I think especially in this meta they are pretty good, and as people have gotten better with them and learned how to kind of use them with aggression and also just bleeding out resources with safe poke, I think that they did look at the data and they did see that snipers do typically win games more often than other guns, and that's probably why they got a nerf. Only to the ammo stacks, we're going to kind of talk about how to use them, what characters are good with them, and just kind of like an overview of all the snipers in general, because believe me, I have tried them out. I've tried them all out. I've tried them with different characters before and after this season, and I think I have a pretty good idea of what I'm talking about in this regard. I've always kind of been a sniper fan in every game that I've played, and Apex is no exception. From the beginning of the game, I always try to use them, and it's always kind of been a close range meta. So one of the things that I have noticed, snipers aren't really good with characters that don't have a whole lot of mobility, mainly because you have to get to positions that open up angles, and you also have to move off of the opportunities that you create with the damage that you make. You can't always count on your teammates to finish up your kills, and you can't really count, except the Craver, to finish off anybody with a sniper rifle, especially the better players who like to hug around cover. So yeah, let's get into it. We'll start with one of my favorites, a weapon that I think has been underrated since the game came out, and that's the triple take. And that's because without the choke at range, it does kind of suffer, but the thing that makes a triple take so good is its bullet velocity. It's much faster than the other sniper rifles, except the charge rifle, which thank God isn't as good as it used to be. But with a character like Lobo out now, the triple take is a pretty good option if you're looking to pick people off from a long range. It also has a really good hip fire. You know, a lot of people meme that it's a budget PK. Well, there is no PK, so it's about as PK as you can get without getting lucky in a care package. And then once you do get that choke, it's kind of like a counter sniper because you're gonna hit your shots. The thing about the Longbow, the Sentinel, and the Craver is that even at the slow strafe speed that ADSing against a sniper provides, the people can still outstrafe your bullets. It's that slow. So the triple take is a great option if you're looking to basically ruin somebody's day, and if you want to get good with it, it is a weapon that does pay off, but you gotta be aware that without that choke, you're basically just pinging people for very little damage from far away, and you're not doing much else. Moving on, the more popular options, a lot of people have been talking about the Sentinel lately, and it does have a faster bullet velocity than, like, let's say the Longbow, but it's still pretty slow and you can miss at range. It's a high risk, high reward weapon. They did give it that nice quality of life change where it takes 2 shield cells instead of a shield battery to charge, which is really great. But a lot of the time that I find with the Sentinel, I'd rather just shoot somebody for 70 and then switch to a different weapon and burst them down than wait for the charge time to happen. That's just me. To use it to its fullest advantage, obviously late game you do want to charge it up, but early game, hitting somebody for 70 when they only have white armor or an Evo shield or no shield at all, even a blue shield, is really going to ruin their day. They're really not going to like that. I do like using short range scopes on this thing. I also like the long range scope. It's really just your fancy. Personally, I like the 4.8 best for all my sniper rifles, just because I like to get that muscle memory down. But another good second option that I do love for the Sentinel, the 3x, because it's such an open sight. It's pretty good mid-range for what you want to do with it. You typically want to hit somebody and then switch to a different weapon and finish them off because the DPS is so low. Now, moving on to a weapon that you don't necessarily have to do that with is the Longbow. And the Longbow's kind of been lost in obscurity, although I still kind of prefer it over the Sentinel, just because you can have a lot of follow-up damage with it without switching your weapon, which makes it a good option all around. And obviously Skull Piercer being back makes it a very good contender for what the Sentinel can do, especially if you're someone who maximizes their skill and does hit those headshots. The Longbow is probably going to be better for you because the follow-up shots come a lot quicker. Now, the caveat to that is they have nerfed the ammo stack, so you do typically have to carry more, perhaps just 1 stack more with the Longbow than you do the other weapons. It's really not that big of a deal. I noticed with a character like Lobo being in the game, it's kind of opened the door for sniper rifles in my opinion. But yeah, the Longbow has become my go-to. Honestly, the only reason reason why is because I don't like fishing for a choke, and right off the gate the Longbow has 6 rounds in the magazine. Its hip fire is better than the Sentinel. It will, especially with the first shot, hit pretty much dead on where you're aiming. So it's definitely a weapon that the more you maximize your skill, the better it gets. And I can't say that for our next sniper rifle, the charge rifle. Whew, man, when this weapon came out, it was like all you heard was just, yeah, all you heard was a charge rifle beaming people. And honestly, I hate this weapon. I hate picking it up. I hate the reload time. I hate that you can't get a mag for it anymore. I hate the damage model. I really do not like this weapon. The only time that I've ever found success with this weapon is basically off pickup, and I'm hardly ever ADSing with it. I'm instead just hip firing it and then switching to a different weapon like an RA45 or even a P2020 and bursting them down that way. So off the pickup, you know, it's pretty good. It's doable. It's workable. But in the late game, where people have a lot more health and you're viable to miss a shot, late game the players are typically better. They're not going to let you beam them with the last shot. They're just going to quick peek, and you're going to hit them for like 3, and then they're going back into cover. Gonna hit them for 3, and then they go back into cover. And then you're going to do it one more time, and you're like, well, do I take this last shot and have to reload forever, or do I try to do my tactical reload and try again in my next clip? That's why I hate this weapon. Personally, this is like baby's first sniper rifle. Pick it up if you really want to try snipers. You know, it's an attachment holder if you really want to go that route, and it's not even that great of an attachment holder because it can't even hold a mag. So forget this weapon. Next, and the next weapon is the weapon. This is the Craver. The Craver has always been good. As long as there's a one-shot mechanic, it's always going to be good if you can hit your shots. And that's the thing about it. The bullet velocity is slow. The reload time is bad. The magazine only has 4 like the charge rifle, but the skill ceiling for this weapon is so much higher. Downing a Jibby or a caustic with full evo with this thing is so satisfying. Even a body shot to switching to a different weapon, a body shot's gonna make somebody hurt and they will feel it. And any serviceable weapon after you hit somebody in the body with a Craver is gonna down them very fast. It doesn't really need a whole lot of explanation why this weapon is in a care package, but yeah, there you go. Moving on to the legends. Now, I said before, you typically want a legend with mobility, and the best types of mobility are Lobo, Pathfinder, and Octane. And the reason why these characters are the best with their mobility is because that they can challenge high ground with their abilities. And that is very important with sniper rifles. Getting height with a sniper rifle opens up massive lines of sight for you. And that's what you really want to do if you're a sniper. You want to be able to see the field. You know, this isn't really CSGO where you're holding a small little angle and you're waiting for somebody to peek it and then boom, they're dead. Because it's really hard to kill somebody in one shot. There's only one sniper in the game that can do that, and that's a very hard weapon to work around to get. Gotta get lucky to get that weapon. So typically, if you're gonna be like, I want to snipe this game, I want to hold up my teammates with sniping, you gotta go with one of these legends. Now, Wraith is kind of okay because of her portal, but now that they nerfed her and she doesn't get a speed boost with her portal, not really. Bloodhound, same thing. You know, it takes her ultimate again to get that sense of mobility. The only other character that doesn't have mobility that works with the sniper rifle is Jibby, and that's because of his arm shield. And I know I made a video a long time ago with the armed and dangerous mode that basically kind of memed that Jibby was really good. It wasn't really a meme. It was kind of before Jibby was considered top tier, and I realized in that mode that Jibby is good with these types of weapons that put all their eggs in one basket. So going against a sniper with arm shield like Jibby has is good, but you don't have that mobility to follow up on your shots, which is extremely important. And I can't stress it enough. It is extremely important to open up angles, because while you're sitting there ADSing, your teammates are typically going to be advancing. And if you cannot be there to help them out when they need it, you're probably going to lose a lot of fights, to be quite honest. You need to get your value. Good players know how to deny sights from you and still open up sights on your team. So you need characters with mobility to counteract that. Pathy, he has 2 ways to get high ground. Loba, her ability isn't the best for height, but she can get there. And Octane, Speedy Boy, is kind of like the dark horse candidate for a sniper. A lot of people like to play Octane and say that he's like a close range guy, but his ability to quickly move around the map, quickly get his ability, quickly challenge high ground, he just kind of speeds up the fight, and that's a lot of time what you need with a sniper. So moving on to Loba. Now Loba is hands down my favorite sniper character because of her ability to get those high level items that you need, like skull piercers, chokes, and sights. Moving on to Loba's tactical, it does do well with sniper sights. If you've ever noticed, if you haven't played a whole lot of Loba, I'm just going to educate you a little bit now. Let that sink in. Sniper scopes in general go well with Loba's passive ability because you can ping things from very far away. It's really a very helpful way to play the character. Instead of having to run up to a building and ping an item that your teammate might need or that you need, you can just look really quick with a sniper scope and see it. You can see exactly what it is. You don't have to guess, and you can ping it from very, very far away. If you're gonna snipe, just give Loba a try. And it also pairs well with her ultimate because ammo is scarce with these weapons, and using her ultimate to get ammo is a viable use of the ultimate. I know a lot of people like to use it to armor swap and all these little cheeky things, but using her ultimate when you need it is typically a lot better than dying with it. If you're gonna snipe, I highly recommend that you use Loba and you abuse the fact that all of her abilities work well with snipers. All of them. Every single one of her abilities is just finally in the sniper meta. It's not really the sniper meta, I shouldn't overstate it. They are good, but still confirming kills is a lot easier with close range weapons. But snipers do have a spot. You can use them. They're just not necessarily the best option. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. I hope you guys have a nice day. I'm gonna try to upload more. I've been working a lot, so excuse me for not streaming, not releasing videos. I'm trying to build my bank account and hopefully one day get myself out of this terrible situation I'm in. So yeah, I'll see you I'll see you all later. Have a good one. Peace.
Push and shove, poke and prod, knives and gloves, hide that bod in a bag or loose cloth depending on who called the cops. Dial up noises and distractions, led a life like pipes in action, beating meat, reflecting shaggy, looking back, not too shabby.
Tell me what it's like just to fall in place.
I spent my time falling only not to land on feet, a place or excuse to